Welcome back, everybody. This video we're going to be talking about solving inequalities, multi-step, and also justifying reasons for solving equations. First out with solving for b. We have b, let me rewrite it so it looks more like a fraction. b divided by 4 greater than or equal to -8. In order to solve for b, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 4. And b will be whatever the b is, it has to be greater than or equal to -32. Let's look at another one. This time we're solving for x. -5x greater than or equal to 70. We're going to divide both sides by a -5. Rule in inequalities. When dividing by it or multiplying by a negative, the inequality symbol actually gets switched around. 70 divided by -5 is a -14. Let's look at this. X over 20. We are less than or equal to 5. In order to solve for x, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by 20. 20's cancel. I'm left with x less than or equal to 100. X, any number less than or equal to 100, solves the inequality. Now here we have variables on both sides. I'm going to try to get all the x's to the right. I'm going to do that by adding x to both sides. And notice what I have. I'm left with 4 less than 4 plus 2x. I'm going to now subtract away 4 from both sides. So I have 0 less than 2x, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Now you can read this a couple of ways, 0 less than x, or you can spin it around and say x greater than 0. So you normally say the variables first with inequalities. So any number greater than 0 makes this inequality true. Now we're going to solve for y here. -4 less than or equal to 11 minus 3y. Let's first get rid of the 11. Minus 11 from both sides. Gives us -15 less than or equal to -3y. A lot of people forget to put that negative when you bring down the 3. It's -3y. I'm going to divide by a -3 on both sides of the inequality. Y is something 5, and since I divided by negative, remember you have to switch the inequality around. Now you could read it 5 greater than or equal to y. You can spin it all around and say y less than or equal to 5. Any number less than or equal to 5 solves this inequality and makes it true. Let's look at this one here. We have to apply the distributive property. That 4 is going to need to be distributed to the y and the 1 to get 4y plus 4 less than or equal to 4y plus 3. I'm going to get all the y's together. I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. And notice that cancels out all the y terms. We're left with the inequality 4 less than 3. And we need to ask ourselves, is it a true inequality? Is 4 less than 3? That is a false statement. So the way we handle this is saying there is no solution. No solution. Alright, now we're going to get into the reasons for this. We have a solved equation. We could do this for inequalities, but we're focusing on equations here. We have a solved equation. 3t minus 2 equals 4. The next step, 3t equals 4, and finally we get t equals 2. Now, we want to find the reason for each one. Well, the first one's easy. It's always given. That's what we start with. And then apparently what happened was we added 2 to both sides. And we have a little typo here. This should actually be a 6. And then because of that, we say this next step, what we did to both sides is add to both sides. That is known as the addition property of equality. Alright, addition property of equality. Next step, divide both sides by 3. We get 6 divided by 3 is 2 for our answer of 2. Why did that happen? The division property of equality. If you divide both sides of an equation by the same thing, it keeps the equation equal. Therefore, that's the properties of equalities. It applies to any of the operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Let's look at another one here. And hopefully we don't have any typos here. Doesn't look like it. Reason for each step. Okay, we got negative 6w plus 7w plus 14 equals 3. The next step ended up with just w plus 14 equals 3. Well, we always start out, first step is given. And then it looks like the like terms, we just combined like terms. The negative 6w and positive 7w came together to make 1w. So combine like terms. And then you can see the step that happened here, taking away 14 from both sides. 3 minus 14 is 11. We applied subtraction. So this is the subtraction property of equality. All right, let's look at one more with an extra step. Reason for each step in this equation. Start out given. Looks like the distributive property was applied here. Negative 4 to r, negative 4 to negative 3. And that was the distributive property. And the next step, looks like we added 4r to both sides. 2r, 4r gave us that 6r. So we applied the addition property of equality. Let's make sure we can see our properties. And then finally, the last step, 6r equals 12. Well, r has to equal 2, yes, but showing kind of the work to make that happen, dividing both sides by 6. 12 divided by 6 gives us the 2. And what we applied there was the division property of equality. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope this helped explain inequalities and the reasons for solving equations.